Oh, I didn't turn on the camera. Derp. And there we go. Well, welcome back to Beast of Pat Paints. I am Pat, and I'm a little bit better than I was yesterday. I have what they call it, norovirus. It's pretty brutal. It was not fun. Anyway, I'm back. Mostly. We're going to do some work today, and we're going to see how long I can go. I don't know how long I'm going to make it. I'm still really fatigued, and just a little bit kind of out of it. But I hate missing, and I've already missed, like, that's 2 days this week. And then tomorrow I got to go take my older son to the orthodontist. So it's going to be a short day tomorrow, too. And I have got to start making some work happen, because I get crazy if I get behind. So, you know, we're going to get to work, because that's what I do. Anyway, I hope everybody else is feeling all right. At least better than I felt yesterday and the day before. It was pretty bad. It was pretty much immediately after I got off the air. I really started feeling bad. I stopped the stream on, what was that, Tuesday? And then within like an hour, I was dying. It was bad. So anyway, I'm back now. I'm okay. Trying to stay hydrated, because that's what you really should do when you get that kind of illness. Stay hydrated. Anyway, we're gonna play some music, and we're gonna do some work, and we'll see how long I make it. Hopefully, I can make it for a good 30 minutes or so. Anyway, here we go. Oh, I did have to restart the palette, because I was so out of it that I totally just left the palette open, and it all dried out. So it was just bad. It was a bad deal. I did put some brown on there because I accidentally squeezed some brown out of the tube when I was putting it away. So I did put some on there today, because I found that tube without any lid on it, and luckily it hadn't dried out. So, it's been really crazy. So we're doing a lot of white and black, so I'm just going to go ahead and go ahead and put some white down there. Here's my black. This poor Necro, I heard those poor Tyranids been sitting up there for a minute. I've been busy doing all this other stuff. Alrighty. So, like we were saying earlier, his main body is more of the gray, and his tail and hair on his head are more white. So, I think I'm going to make a little gray and start that dry brush work on his main body first, and then we'll come through and we'll do his hair and tail second. Now, we applied that wash on Tuesday before I got ill. And this is going to be kind of a dry brush, so I kind of want it dried out. But we're just going to kind of get just on the edges. We'll let the very, very deep recesses keep that darker color. And it's just to give it a little bit of extra texture. Ooh, hang his tail up. He got so many parts that's sticking out on him, it's kind of hard to... move him around sometimes. He'll kind of get caught up in my setup. I kind of run things a little low budget, so rely on my genuineness to carry me through. I don't know how well it does for me, but that's all right. It's still fun to do something with myself. Otherwise, I'd just be sitting around here watching BoobTube or twiddling my thumbs, I guess. I don't know. Paint by myself. Better to paint with people that might come by and watch than it is to paint just all by myself. Careful. Start making some misstrokes here. Again, a lot of this just gives it some texture to the color. So it's not just plain gray. You know, we've got a little bit of color texture to that. Because we do want it to be mostly this gray, but we don't want it to be just all gray. Nothing's all, no creature's all one color like that. Didn't quite work out that way. There's going to be some dirt or some grime or just some changes, some blemishes. Everybody's got that. Of course, we're looking at making it a little bit lighter where the sun's going to hit it, and let it stay darker on the bottoms. So here we don't want to paint up underneath it. We don't have to do that. Here's a good example. We just want to do these parts that the light is going to hit. We don't need to do this stuff underneath. Yep. Just keep dripping over the top of it. After we get all this in, we'll start working on the details. I'm going to start taking a look at our candle light and where the candles are hitting it. Because he's definitely going to have some of this is going to get changed when we see where that candle light's going to hit him. But that's just going to be adding some of that yellow color to the top of what we're doing. Change the color of the colors that way. Okay. All right. Now, I said this other side is a lot more white. So we're going to kind of This may take a couple of rounds. We may do this one here and then come back later and hit it up again. We definitely got to lighten this up pretty substantially. But we don't want to obscure too much of the details of the model. See if I can't find what that's made out of. It looks like probably leather. If we can find a picture of it somewhere, we can figure out exactly what it is. Alright, so he's sitting like this. So it's a very, very careful process to do all this dry brushing, but it definitely gives you the right effect. Okay. Like I said, might take more than one round of this. All right. Not quite as white as we want it yet, but it's definitely getting there. White's definitely one of those colors that just takes a few rounds of getting it put on to make it really adjust to what you want it to do. The good thing is we get to kind of control as we go how much we're putting on. Like I was putting on a little bit heavier of that first round than I am this round. I'm really kind of just kissing it now. And you can see how it's going to slowly get wider and wider and wider. And it's going to let the model handle itself with just picking up the edges. Because it's got the hairs kind of traced into the tail here in a way. And a little bit of dry brush brings that right out. You want to layer it, like I said, we're just trying to layer those paints in a little bit by little bit. Okay. This should be the last one. He's so heavy. He starts wearing my hand out after a little while. It's a really nice print. You can just the thickness of it is so nice. I mean, I'm over here complaining about it making my hand sore, but I mean, tired. I shouldn't say sore. But you know, on the other hand, like you're almost not afraid to drop this guy because you don't think he's going to break that easily. I mean, it probably would, but he's got the kind of steadiness to the print that just kind of makes you feel like he could take some abuse. You're like, oh man. I mean, it's not like some of those other prints we get that are like super heavy duty. When they're all one solid piece. He was definitely hollowed out, but not by much. Alright, we kind of want to leave the rest of that pretty gray because it is dark on the rest of his fur. It's just this tail and his mane that are lightened up. I do a little work down in here just to kind of lighten it up. You're not going to see a lot of that just because of his pose. The way he's posed, you won't see a lot of this stuff up in here. But we still want to put just a little bit of work up in there. Just to kind of, oop, I can't see what I'm doing. That's going to fade a lot, which is okay. It's just going to kind of give us that color on the inside. Like I said, the way he sits is like this. There we go, like this. So you're not really going to, up in here, you're not going to see much. But in case anybody picks it up and goes wandering around looking at it. Right. Okay, now this, let me get this maybe even wider. Because these strands are supposed to be pretty dang white. white hair is always interesting because it's like it's white, but not like some of it's going to be whiter than other parts, I guess. So you always have to kind of guess on like how much white needs to go where and all that stuff. So it can take a little practice and a lot of not having any fear. Kind of just have to go for it and not worry too much. I mean, worst comes to worst, you just wash it again and it'll be all right. And since again this one's going to take multiple layers, this one will be just fine. If you get a little overzealous in some parts for a second, don't worry about this one. In the next layer, it'll be a lot more important. I mean, try not to obscure details, but you might make mistakes. It's going to happen. That's life. You gotta just kind of roll with the changes or whatever. There's a song about that, I guess. Old song. Giving away some of my age there. It's good to switch to the head when I did because my hand was really getting tired. But we also have something cool to look at here in a little bit. We'll take a look at this. One of our fans and longtime friends sent us a miniature for fun because they couldn't resist it because of the name of this miniature. We'll go look at that in here in a second. And it got here, and my friend and fan will be very happy. This has been a fan of mine since we were young men, so it's kind of fun to be able to share this stuff again now when we're older. He pops on from time to time, so longtime people of the channel will know who this is when I talk about it. Yep. All right, it's starting to get there. And you can see how that brown undertone really helps sell the insides, the very dark parts of this. Because by the time we get this done, it's going to have to be almost like stark white. And that is going to take a lot of layers. But we want that whiteness to have some undercoats to it, and especially deep down on the insides. It's going to have that dirtier gray, that smutsier gray. Especially because for watching this guy's little deal, he's in this old dirty temple. So, he's not the cleanest of guys. Wears this old nappy robe and then he turns into this like Captain Insano thing. Which is pretty cool. Again, down in here, we're just trying to get a little bit of color on it. Don't stress this stuff too much, because people aren't going to see a lot of this. We might only need one coat down here. We're going to see later. We'll put his head on and look at it. Let's see what we see. But a lot of times this stuff that's underneath, we just needed to have enough color to where you can tell that it's not like we don't want it to look black or anything. Or too dark brown. We need to have some white, some gray to it. Gotta sell it as one head of hair. Yeah. Here we go. Looking good, looking good. There we go. And I think this part of his jaw, I know this part is gray. A little bit of gray on the muzzle. Get that cleaned off there real quick. Back to the white. Yep, white can definitely make you feel like you don't know what you're doing. You'll do everything else fine, and you have to do something that's like super white, and then you're questioning everything that you were ever taught in painting, and you're like, what am I doing? This is gonna look terrible. And then you keep moving on it and keep moving on it, and you keep working, and you trust the process, and then it comes out. And it's all fine in the end. It does take a little bit of faith, and a little bit of continuing to trust the process. This starts to feel like it's never gonna be white. And then all of a sudden, like, it starts looking pretty darn white. And you're like, oh wow, it's starting to work. And what's really going to sell this one is once we get this hood piece done. That'll really sell it. Because right now it's all kind of gray around it, so the contrasting between the other colors beside it aren't quite as heavy as it could be. This is still kind of gray and stuff, but once this is the color it's supposed to be, it'll really, like I said, it'll really pop it out, and it'll really make everything look super white. Heck yeah. Hey, look, I'm doing all right. I've made it past half an hour. I think we're going to get done with this head, though, and we're going to call it for today, because I am still not 100% here, guys. I'm super sorry about that, but nothing I can really do about all that. Except for keep trying to heal up, you know? Alright, let's take a look at it. Put that lid on there just so I don't mess it up. Oh yeah. Definitely starting to look more legit. We need to come back tomorrow and probably go ahead and do some of this underneath, because it is going to have to be a lot wider than that. So we'll have to finish up some of our drivers tomorrow. We'll come back and do that. We'll do the tail probably one more time because it's not quite lightened up enough. So we'll probably have to hit it one more time, which is quite alright. Let me go ahead and put that down before I drop all this. But we'll take a look at as much of the whole thing together as we can, because he's so huge. But yeah, that's starting to look good. Definitely going to have to look at, like I said, we'll have to look at that. Our color, because our torch light's definitely going to light, our candles are definitely going to light this area right here up. He's going to have a little bit of light coming from that. We can keep it pretty low. We don't have to do too much work, but a little bit of light trickle up there will really help this cell light. Really nice. So, anyway, great looking model. Been a lot of fun so far. We're going to come back tomorrow. Probably going to do another little half-hour guy, and then I got to go. I said I got to go get my son and take him to the ortho, because he's got some ortho things. Anyway, hope you guys had a great time. I'm feeling a lot better, but I'm not quite there yet. So keep me in your meditations, thoughts, prayers, well wishes, all that sort of stuff. And we're going to see you tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye.